This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 122 of the Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we ask to blanket or not to blanket your horse in the winter. The breed of the show is the parakeet. Tigger answers a customer's question about a grumpy mare. And in Coffee Klatch, we ask, if you were going to add another pet to your family, what would it be? Listen in. I'm Tigger.
And I'm Patty.
And I'm Coach Jen, producer of this here circus, and thanks for tuning in to Healthy Critters Radio. I can't talk either. We record this little show pretty late in the evening, so we're all just a little bit punchy by the time we get here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True that.
True that. And this is the point in the show where we have a little chit-chat. We catch up on who's been doing what, where, and when. And when Tigger and Patty don't come prepared with a topic, I pick one. Ha, ha, ha. You'd think they'd learn.
Wait, you do it every time. What do you... Okay.
So today's topic, regular listeners know that Glenn and I recently got a new doggie in our life, our greyhound, Pickles. And Tigger and Patty just received pictures of Pickles in their texts because she's so cute. And
Oh my God.
Yeah, Pickles is sitting on her doggy bed, completely buried in doggy toys. So I want to know.
She's got long legs.
She's very puppyish. She's only 18 months old, so she's still very puppy shaped. She's all legs and ribs and tail, an incredibly long tail. So she's growing into her parts just a little bit. She's at that awkward phase. Yes. But what I want to find out from you guys, because you guys are both real big dog people. You have lots of dogs, and you have lots of good experience with dogs.
Yes.
Dog chewies, the kind of chewies that entertain them for long periods of time. We have found
besides furniture?
Something besides furniture, something besides socks. Dog-appropriate chewies. Okay. We'll start with Patty. What are your go-tos for long-lasting chew entertainment for dogs?
I go, and I can't remember the name of them. I'm going to have to ask Tigger what they're called. Femur bones, is that what it is, Tigger?
Yeah, the knuckle bones.
Yeah, the knuckle bones and femur bones. I tend to do those, and then because I have so many, but you can put like peanut butter or whatever. But some of them you can get, like if you go to the butcher, you can get them still with some of the marrow in there. And oh my gosh, they love that. But my dogs, it lasts forever.
Cool. And
so
Tigger, what about you?
Favorite. Exactly the same.
Now,
I do get mine with marrow in it, and you can find those bones at like a specialty pet store.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll get them from the butchers, and now I can't say that they last that long with mine, because once they get all the marrow out, then they try to steal their friend's bone. Mm-hmm. I mean, but with a dog like yours, it'll last. It could last days.
Au contraire.
Oh.
Okay.
Some greyhounds can be extremely aggressive chewers, and we've got one.
Really?
Yes. Once she decides that a given chew is appropriate, she will either chew it with extreme vigor or not even look at it. She's very polarized that way. And we've only had her for about a month now, and she only just very recently discovered that chewing on things is fun.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she discovered this about 4 days ago. And oh my gosh, grab something quick that's appropriate that she can chew on. And I've discovered that there's some things like, oh, this is great to chew on, and she just won't give it up. I have to trade her, or I can't take it away. I'm going to trade you this for this. Or she sniffs it and goes, nah, I'm not doing that. So I wanted to find out the things that you guys like.
Never seen a dog turn down a knuckle bone or a femur bone. ever.
Now, do you use exclusively beef bones?
Yes.
Okay. Or do you using the raw
Raw.
ones? Or the raw ones. Okay. So that's something
No, nothing cooked.
Nothing cooked. Okay. So we live A, in a rental, and B, in Florida. So we have to be, that's the kind of thing that when she gets that sort of treat, she's going to have be supervised, and it will have to be removed, because if it sits on the floor and she's not physically chewing on it, it will be covered with insects within moments.
Ew.
Within moments.
Even in air conditioning?
Oh gosh, yes. There's no way to keep insects out of your home in Florida. No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we try to use things that, because what'll happen is she will put it somewhere and she'll chew all over it, and wherever that thing touched will attract creatures that want to enjoy the fun. Yes. So we go, other ideas, other thoughts.
I'm going to look up something that I have used, but she may go through them pretty fast.
They can't be any worse than a greenie. We gave her a greenie the other day, and it literally took less than 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was the large dog size. 90 seconds. It was gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trying to remember. Oh, Barkworthies.
Barkworthies.
They're bully sticks. And you might do what they make them ring, like a ring.
Oh, I like the ring idea.
Yeah, that takes a while. You can get it on Amazon. The company is Barkworthies.
Barkworthy rings, bully sticks, dog treat. Oh,
bully
so it's a donut.
stick,
I was looking for something donut shaped for her, because she tends to want to impale herself with them. She just shoves it in as far as she can. And the round circle makes that less appealing.
Yes.
I like that. Now, what makes a Barkworthy ring bully stick treat? What makes that different than a piece of rawhide shaped the same way?
Well, a lot of the rawhide is from China.
So it's just not processed in a fashion that's really healthy for them?
It's not good.
Okay.
No.
So this is going to be made out of bully sticks.
Yeah. Some of them are
they're parts. We'll just say that.
Say it on the radio? Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, they're parts. So I'm gonna put that on my shopping list. The Barkworthy ring bully stick treat.
There's another company. Hang on.
Oh, they're very reasonably priced. They're $5.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, dog treats can be mighty pricey. I thought about getting her some hooves. The cow hooves.
Oh man, they just smell. Oof, they smell. That's the only reason
they're disgusting.
See, the ones we get up here don't have any really smell left to them at all.
But they may have been bleached.
Well, they may have been. They're still hoof colored. They still look like a hoof. But I will have to look into that. Interesting.
Let me see if I can remember the name of this company. They're Buffalo Chews from, and they're from Colorado. And they're great, but I can't remember their name. Great Dog Bison Achilles Tendon Chews.
Wow, that's a lot of name.
Great Dog Bison Achilles Tendon Chews.
Wow.
There they are. Oh, that's the dog.
And Great Dog Bison has lots of different kinds.
Great. I'm going to look that up. Great Dog Bison. And why does Great Dog Bison look like a good idea? What are the things that you like about it? This isn't a paid review, by the way, but if anybody is from Dog Bison, Great Dog is listening, we would love you to help support the show, but we're not getting any dollars from you yet. Just saying that. Okay.
Right.
I all my dogs have loved these tendon chews, and I like, bison, they don't get vaccinated. They basically live and pretty wild, even domesticatedly. I mean, you can't go out and sort of pet a bison.
Not really, no.
No. So they basically just live on grass.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty clean chew.
Okay. So they have all kinds of, hooked on tails. What's a hooked on tails? Oh, that's just little decorative stuff. Now, have either of you ever used the antlers? They're popular in a lot of fronts nowadays.
Yes, I did once.
My dogs won't eat them.
Yeah, my dogs went through them really quickly, which was interesting. But yes, I did have those, and they did like them. I also think I remember them sort of smelling.
See, our last greyhound, Glory, loved her antler, and she was another aggressive chewer. A lot of things that were made for hard chewers, she would shatter, so we had to really search around to try to find something for her.
Wow.
And she really did well with the antler. She wasn't able to shatter it, and it really kept her busy for a long time. So I didn't know if you guys had any experience with those.
Yeah,
Mine wouldn't
had
eat them.
happen. Yeah, it's so interesting. I haven't had them in a while, but when I did have them, they loved them.
Oh, interesting. So,
but again, I was a little. They were so pointy.
They're pointy. And nowadays, everybody's kind of jumped on the antler bandwagon. When we first started getting antlers a long time ago, there were very, very few companies providing them to the marketplace. So there were only a couple there. And it was literally an antler that got chopped off the rest of the antler rack, and that's what you got. But now you can buy them that are split, and they do all kinds of stuff to them, et cetera, et cetera. So the marketplace may have changed a little bit since then. And again, this is the beef tendon. So it's made of tendon tissue, not bone. So that's a good thing, because then when they crunch down hard on them, because at least it's been my experience, only 2 greyhounds I've had experience with, but this is the way they are. When they chew on things, their goal is to consume it. They're chewing it, and they're chewing it aggressively. But you know how some dogs just seem to chew on it like chewing gum? They're just gnawing away. Gnaw, 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 gnaw. They're just having a great time. But it's been my experience with these 2 hounds so far that when they do decide something is worth chewing on, the goal is to get it down their throat. So they try to bite off chunks of it.
Oh, wow.
So that's why you have to be really careful about what you're feeding them. And unlike a bone, they're not going to be able to shatter a tendon. Now, the disadvantage to the tendon is straight shaped. It's a long, skinny piece. So once she gets it down to about 2 inches, I'm going to have to take it away from her, because that's when she starts to go, I'm just stuffing it all in.
Yeah. Which is hard to do with a bone.
Yeah, you want it, something that's that round, curvy shape.
When it has the marrow in it, they're chewing, but they're licking and sucking at that marrow, and they work it and 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 work it, and they don't gnaw as much.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
because their teeth are involved, but they're really working to get, and the marrow is so good for them.
Yeah. Well, I thought about maybe getting her one of the raw bones to have out in the backyard, because she does like to go out and sit in the backyard and sun herself for half an hour or so at a time, and that would be a good toy to have out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so.
She's discovered the joys of the backyard. She likes that now.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Oh.
Yeah. And if she doesn't want to come back in yet, when it's time to come back in the house, she just stands at the bottom of the steps and goes, "Gosh, I don't think I remember how to go up the steps."
Yeah. That's so funny.
Show me.
Don't work.
Carry
show me. Exactly. If you put a cookie at the top of the steps, I'm sure I'll remember how to get up. And that's her voice. She has a very soft voice.
Yeah, that's pretty cute.
Well, that
is pretty cute.
Some great great long-lasting chewing devices. Now, have either of you ever used I'm going to use a name brand here because it's the one I'm familiar with, the Nylabone style ones, where it's a hard chew that's supposed to last a long time, but it's not designed to be consumed? I've never used them.
No, because I was always afraid that mine would consume the plastic.
Yeah, I've used them in the past, and they have lasted and been good, but it is amazing the amount of stuff they pick up.
Oh, everything sticks to them.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was a little irritating. And again, you've got to watch them, because when they get down, you've got to be real careful about, them getting too, sharp and stuff. But I've used those. I mean, I have to tell you, the bones that we talked about in the beginning have always been my favorite for all of my. It's funny because I just had gotten new ones for my dogs, and so they were just all eating those earlier. They last. See, mine will keep just picking them up and chewing them, Tigger, like when the marrow is gone.
Yeah, mine will too.
So
but what I have found, because with 8 dogs, that means 8 bones around the house.
Oh, that's a lot of bones around the house.
Yeah.
And when you're walking around without the lights aren't on, and hit so they get picked up after the marrow's gone.
They're the dog owner's Lego.
Yeah.
I don't need need to break my ankle on a chew bone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Great ideas, ladies. Thank you very much for the assistance, because when you get a new puppy in your life, it's a learning curve. And even when the puppy's 18 months old, it's still a new puppy in your life. And you kind of get to know what they need.
So speaking of what animals need, we're going to talk about to blanket or not to blanket.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
We just got done with election drama. Do we need to go down this road? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, really, Tigger.
Well, there's a very interesting study that just came out.
Oh, tell me.
It was on thehorse.com. It was in Europe, and they found that horses that are blanketed ate anywhere from 2 to 8% less hay. They maintained their weight, than horses that weren't. And of course, the explanation being horses that aren't blanketed are going to eat more hay to stay warm. What they didn't say in the study was, were these horses that are blanketed clipped? Were they? So I mean, there's some other factors that are unknown at this point.
Right. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. Because coincidentally, one of the holistic veterinarians, Dr. Joyce Harmon, had an article recently in her newsletter that horses really are happier in cooler weather. I mean, winter isn't nearly as difficult for them as summer. So I just thought, personally, if you've got a horse that you're going to ride every day, you probably need to body clip and blanket. I mean, that's kind of a given. But if you're not going to do more than some light riding in the winter, I'm all for letting them have their woolly coat. It does insulate them. And as the research pointed out, 2 to 8% is a small amount of difference. I mean, it's not even a flake of hay a day. So
yeah.
And I've learned from my retired horses, they grow big fuzzy coats and they're happy as clams. And if you come towards them with a blanket, they look at you like you're about to torture them. So, and the thing about blankets with a horse that has a full winter coat is it depresses. When you put the blanket on, it kind of depresses the air pockets. Horses will fluff themselves up in the cold. When you put a blanket on, it depresses that action, which is how they stay warm. And this is supposed to be a table, so jump in anytime.
Sorry, I had myself on mute. I was talking to myself all that while. I used to try to explain it to people when they would buy a sheet for their horse that was not blanketed. It's like, I appreciate that you want to keep them warm and dry, because if it's raining hard, they could get cold, right? But we've all done this. You go outside, the weather is not really cold, not really hot. It's kind of in between. And you have a t-shirt on, you throw on a raincoat and you're fine. But then when the deluge starts and the rain hits that raincoat against your skin, it's cold.
Yeah.
So that rain hitting the sheet is not helping them stay warm. It's helping them stay dry. So as long as the weather is warm enough that the extra insulation isn't required, you're going to be okay. But be careful about putting a sheet on an unclipped horse thinking you're keeping them warm.
Right.
You might not be. You might well be keeping them dry. And if they just need protection from wind, let's say it's sunny out and 35 miles an hour winds and 17 degrees. Well, keeping the wind off of them is going to help. Yeah. But think carefully about that whole process, because you're right. The fluffiness of their coat is what helps to keep
is their insulator.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why you put the fiber fill in a blanket, because that replaces their coat fluff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. That's true.
And feed plenty of hay. I mean, that really is the key.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, because I am the absolute hay Nazi. I feed way more hay than any other human on earth, except maybe a cattle farmer. When I first started working, I used to work at the Myopia Hunt Club. I ran the barn up there for a number of years. And when I first started working up there and took the place over, it's been around for a bazillion years. I was just another in a long line of managers. And all the horses ate their hay out of hay nets. We're paying top dollar for hay up there. We want to keep it off the floor so they have the opportunity to eat all of it, right? Because, of course, when horses put their hay on the floor and step on it. Oh gosh, you can't eat it. And each of these hunt horses was allocated 40 pounds of hay a day.
Whoa.
And they're big hunt horses. Most of these horses were 17 hands and a little bit. They worked very hard. They were clipped. It was very freaking cold in Hamilton, Massachusetts. It's way up there.
Oh, yeah.
So they needed those calories, and the horses did fabulously. It was interesting because everybody's going, you feed them that much hay? And it's like, yeah, but look how little grain they're getting. They're getting a third less grain than they got the year before, and they look way better. And knock on wood, we haven't had a colic yet. Hello. We're doing something right here. So it's nice if you have that opportunity to try and give more forage and maybe blanket if possible.
Yeah, especially if they're not going to be worked hard. I mean, if they're going to be worked hard, then that's a different story. A trace clip or a full clip. Because trying to cool a horse out with a long winter coat that's hours. Unless you have a solarium or something.
Now, Patty, with your horses, I know you still, even though you have fancy show horses, your show horses still get turnout time. Do you have separate blankets that you use to turn them out and to wear in the stable, or are the waterproof blankets used indoors and out?
Well, okay, so yes.
Yes?
Yes. Next. Well, no, I mean, what I have 3 different types for each horse. We have a light waterproof rain sheet that can go on if it's generally, I mean, if the horses where I am right now, if it's raining, they don't go out because it's gumbo and it's immediately, it's worse than rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just slick and it's too dangerous. So but in the past, what I've done is if there were going to be out and if I had like a medium sheet or medium blanket, generally I like to have them all be breathable and also waterproof, but I've often put the sheet on top of like a medium blanket to help make it more waterproof or whatever, or so that I can peel that one off when they come in. But for the most part, I tend to have 4 blankets for each horse, and the most universal one is the sheet, because that can go on top of something else if they've been out. So if it gets muddy, then the sheet's easier to kind of wash, if that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense.
But, I tend to have my my younger horses, even though it gets cold here at night, my 4-year-old, I still like him to go out all night long because I want him to have as much time out as possible. But I haven't clipped him. Once he turns 5 next year, he'll still go out all day long, and then I'll clip him. But I don't like to clip them or do anything until, they're, really, really working. And at 4, almost 5, he really only works 4 days a week, and one day we just trail ride. So he doesn't need to be clipped. But the older ones all get clipped, but they don't go out at night because it obviously it can get too cold. So, but I like to have, I have all the blankets. I have them marked for how many degrees.
So when
55.
Horses that need blankets because of the air temperatures that are staying in the barn get those blankets on, do you use a stable blanket, or do you just use one of the turnout blankets? Well, both. I mean, it depends on which horse it is, because we have an older horse that's 20 that has cushions, and he tends to run a little hot. So I always go with a lighter, stable blanket that doesn't tend, for him, because he'll sweat. Yeah. And I like it to be breathable. But the other ones, I generally use their turnout blankets. There we go.
Because that's so many blankets. I mean, that is so many blankets. Because each horse has 3 blankets.
If you're clipping them, they kind of need that many.
Well, yeah. And I mean, and if they get dirty, then what do you do if you don't have I always have an extra, though. I always have an extra, that will fit. Because, I mean, most of them, the largest one we have in the barn is my baby, who's 17.1. So he has to have, obviously, his own size blankets. But the other ones are all kind of around the same size. So I always just like to have one extra one in case it does rain and we couldn't catch them and, get out, in time, or, whatever, or it gets muddy or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just have that one extra one floating around so they, then another horse can use it if something happens to their other blankets.
It's good to have a spare. It really is. Because there's, it really sucks when you have to take the bedspread off your bed and put it on your horse because you didn't have anything to wear. It just sucks. Yeah.
Or you have to stand there with a blow dryer to make sure they stay warm.
Yeah. using all of your guest bath towels to dry them off. Yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, luckily our breed of the show doesn't need a blanket.
I know.
Look at you with your segues. What is the breed of show, Patty?
I know. Well, it's time. It's time, girls, to talk about parakeets.
And now it's time for the breed of the show.
So, parakeet is our breed of the show. And I'm kind of excited because I had a parakeet years and years and years ago, but I always like learning about new critters. And so there's so much to these little birds. So a parakeet, there's tons of different types, and I'm specifically going to talk about the budgie, or I can't even say it right, the budger-greer, but it's most commonly referred to is a parakeet. Fun little fact, its Latin name roughly means songbird with wavy lines.
Oh,
I thought that was so cute. Yeah. But if you look at one and you see their lines on them, they really do look like little wavy lines. And oh my gosh, they come in so many beautiful colors, which I'm sure, you guys have all seen. So they are one of the most popular pet birds in the world, mainly because everybody thinks about them as sort of a beginner bird, and thinking that they don't require as much as actually other parrots. And in fact, they do. Not that they're time consuming, but a bird is a bird is a bird. Just because they're small and cute doesn't mean they don't require, as much time and socialization and, cleaning their cage and stuff like that. So the cool thing about them is they're very small in size, but they're very playful. They can actually, did not know this, can rival the vocabulary of actually any other parrot.
Wow.
With their talking ability, which I did not know. The thing that's really interesting is because their voice sounds like a sped up recorder, often the owners don't recognize that they're saying a word. They think they're just chattering. So they're actually saying, I guess you really, really have to kind of listen to what they're saying. So I thought that was really cool. But there's over 70 different types of these little boogers. They are anywhere from like 8.5 to 9.5 inches. So they're not real tall or real big. They can live up 10 to 15 years. They're extremely, extremely social. The thing is, when you get one, do you get one bird or do you get two birds? And the question really, or the answer to that is honestly, is how much time you have to spend with them, because they are very social. If you feel like every single day you're going to be able to get your parakeet out of the cage and play with it, and whatever, you're probably going to be fine with just one. If you think that you're only going to be able to do it a couple times a week, my reading suggested that you get two so they can be with, another bird and hang out and have bird friends. And apparently it also can help them really talk a lot more. Again, obviously trying to figure out what they're saying will be a big thing. So as far as care, they're relatively easy to care for in the sense that they're mainly a seed diet. There's different types of seeds and wafer stuffs that you can get for them. There's things that you want to make sure when you get one that you have in their cage, that they have perches and little things that they sleep in. But the big thing is that I found this fascinating. They're prone to obesity. So you really yes. Can you believe that? And so you really have to be very careful on making sure that you get the right type of, parakeet feed. And there's different companies out there like Avi Cakes and Popcorn Nutriberries and all this stuff that seems to be like really good suggestions. And again, you would want to talk to your vet or wherever you end up getting them from. So that's really quite a big deal. And I guess it's common for them to get fatty tumors. So these are things that can actually, happen if you overfeed your little parakeet. Their cage cleaning, is something you want to do daily, as far as like changing their water and obviously giving them food. But a full cage cleaning would be just once a week where you do the bottom of the cage to sort of like, and again, you would have to ask, how to do it and what type of stuff to put on the bottom. I used to always just put newspaper on the bottom.
Do they still make those newspapers?
Newspapers for it. I was just going to say,
if you can find a newspaper.
Yeah, if you can find a newspaper. So as far as handling, like I said, they're very social. With supervision, they can really be taught a ton of things and can be fantastic with kids. Again, when handling them, you want to make sure you do it, daily and read up on how to handle them and treat the parakeet. How you treat the parakeet is key to, a successful bird. And that's with obviously any animal, but, just being patient and taking your time and stuff like that. So, but getting into the fun stuff of like trying to teach them to speak, apparently males tend to be better talkers than the females, but both love to whistle. And again, if you have two of them, they tend to do a lot more talking to each other, which is, I don't know if you guys have ever had one, but I just think they're,
I love them.
I love them. I'm surprised I don't have one.
Me too.
So, I had one.
I'm starting to look around my room going, where could I put a bird cage?
Where could I know, I was thinking the same thing. How could I do this? But, it sounds like, I haven't had one in years and years and years, but they're a great pet. They're probably a good apartment pet, just do a little bit of research and finding out, but they don't require that much maintenance as far as like having to clean the cage that much. I don't think they smell that much, as long as you keep them clean. And, whether you are the socialization factor or another bird, I don't know. I think a parakeet is something to consider, and they come in beautiful colors.
Yeah, the colors are awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
think there's like over 70 different. Yeah. So there you go.
Hello?
Hetty!
Technology is failing us left and right, people.
Yeah.
Left and right, top and bottom, in and out.
We hate technology.
We do.
Yeah, I know you do. I want to know what you have planned for how you're going to connive your servant to give you Thanksgiving goodies. What are you planning on?
Well, things are going poorly on that front, if I may say, because
oh dear,
we thought that our grandmother person was going to come, and the grandmother person is excellent at getting us snacks with turkey in because she eats turkey.
Yay!
But unfortunately, the stupid servant has started coughing, and she feels like her lungs are being squeezed together by the Incredible Hulk, and she's all wheezy and pathetic.
Uh-oh.
So now the grandmother doesn't want to come because she's gross. So I don't know what will happen now.
So no turkey for
the little dog.
No turkey for little dogs.
Well, I can only hope that the human will die, and then the grandmother will come get us and give us turkey.
Just any random grandmother from anywhere. There you go.
No, the grandmother person, the one that sadly produced the stupid human. I mean, she's nice, so I don't know what went wrong.
Would you accept turkey from other grandmother persons that are not your own?
Totally.
There we go.
I'm a dog.
So all we have to do with healthy critters,
affection.
We just have to send over a grandmother person on Thanksgiving Day to Hetty, and then she'll be good.
Or just turkey.
Or just send her.
You don't care who delivers it, as long as it's turkey and it's for you.
Correct. I'm not fussy at all.
I think that's a very healthy outlook.
I'm extremely flexible.
Yeah. You're kind of like that raccoons I sent you the video of.
Let's not be rude, Tigger.
Have you guys seen the raccoon whisperer in Canada?
Oh my gosh, those raccoons, I literally saw that. They're the fattest raccoons I've ever seen. Is it the one with all of them?
Yes.
The fattest raccoons I've ever seen.
We're not
He's
fat,
like
Tigger.
feeding 8 pounds of hot dogs a night to these raccoons.
How much does your Australian Shepherd weigh, Tigger?
Well, it was not about the weight, but it was about the way the Pomeranians use their paws, very similar to raccoons, very cleverly.
That is true.
Yes, so that's
Little
what
hands.
made me think of a herd of raccoons. It's not so different from a herd of Pomeranians. So
Just this morning, my new sister, Peace Blossom, whacked the servant 6 to 7 times across the face.
Oh.
jeez.
No wonder she's coughing and wheezing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
There we go.
Get your servant to bed,
Oh, trust me.
Yeah.
and we'll try to send you a grandmother with turkey.
Or just a turkey.
Anyone.
Anyone,
Just
any
the
delivery
turkey.
person.
Any delivery person with
Exactly.
turkey, specifically for the Pomeranian.
UPS, it's fine.
Yeah.
UPS, FedEx, whatever.
No problem. We'll
All
get
right.
on it.
Okay.
Thanks, Hedwig.
Super.
Okay.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care,
Happy
Hetty.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. Now we're at Critter Nutrition, and I'm going to answer a customer's question about grumpy mares. Dear Tigger, lately my horse fits the grumpy mare stereotype more often than not, but she used to be much happier. We've had a saddle fitter out, tried different bits, increased her turnout, but nothing seems to help much. Is there anything I can do to support her nutritionally? Signed, Megan D. Great question, Megan. The first thing to realize is that this is not a one-size-fits-all situation. There are many factors that come into play when you have a grumpy mare. Just because a friend also has a horse that is cranky does not mean that both horses are suffering from the same problem. The things that need to be discussed at the beginning of the investigation are the mare's lifestyle, the level of work she's in and what kind of work she does, how old she is, any hormonal issues, potential pain issues, the last time she had a healthy horse check and had her CBC pulled. Then consider her diet. What kind of hay does she get? What does her turnout look like? As with any issue, it's a lot more in depth than just saying, hey, I've got a grumpy mare. What supplement can you give me? That being said, I'll outline some of the common problems mares face. Hormones and how you can balance them. There is always a hormonal component with a mare. You can never underestimate a grumpy mare who feels like humans do when we have PMS. If the hormonal issues aren't so bad that you need something like Regimate, one of the things I found really helpful is hemp seed oil. Hemp seed oil contains gamma-linoleic acid, which the body uses to convert to prostaglandin E1, as that assists in a healthy inflammatory response. Misoprostol, which is a drug commonly used for glandular ulcers and hindgut ulcers, is a synthetic prostaglandin. The advantage of using prostaglandin therapy with a hormonal imbalance is that you actually end up lowering prostaglandin 2, which is the pro-inflammatory prostaglandin, and elevating prostaglandin E1, which is the anti-inflammatory prostaglandin. When a mare starts feeling uncomfortable during her cycle, it's probably an elevation of the pro-inflammatory prostaglandins. Getting gut health on track. Sometimes horses are grumpy because of stomach discomfort or their gut in general. The first step in this scenario would be to discuss the issues with your veterinarian and consider gastric support. Have the horse scoped and see whether ulcers are prevalent. If so, are they squamous or glandular? Is the horse ulcer sensitive and in need of some more aggressive support? You can also call upon trained body workers, chiropractors, massage therapists, or physiotherapists who can palpate some of the acupuncture points which may light up in the stomach meridian. Further considerations, you can increase the mare's access to alfalfa, which could in turn buffer the acid in the stomach and make the horse more comfortable. You might need a more gastric specific support and go with something like Biostar's Optimum GI, or Biostar's TriGuard, or Biostar's TheraGuard. The stress factor. The other component of a grumpy mare could be stress, which could also be at the root of ulcer sensitivity. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of addressing stress in performance horses. We cannot judge a horse's stress on a human's perception of stress. We are not horses. Horses are herd animals. They like to be with their own kind. Maybe the mare has made an attachment to another horse, and she's moved to a new barn and does not have that friend. Or there could be a human in the barn that's really stressed out. Horses pick up on that easily. Addressing stress begins with cortisol. So you would want to address the cortisol with possibly 2 Biostar products, one Equilibrium and the other one Theracom. When people look for supplements, they're often looking for an instant fix. However, it's so important to look down every avenue when trying to address any issues your horse might have. This is kind of what sets Biostar apart. We want to talk to you about your horse, ask those important questions, make suggestions to discuss with your wellness team, and help you invest in the right supplements for your horse's needs.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
So here we are at Coffee Klatch, and our question is, if you were going to add another pet to your family, what would it be? So what would it be, Patty P?
Don't say parakeet. That's cheating.
Yes, I'm going to say parakeet. And is a donkey a pet? I mean, it is.
Yes,
it can be. Absolutely.
I really would love to get a donkey. If I didn't travel so much, I would love to go get a rescue donkey. I'd love that.
Aww.
But apparently they need to have so I'd have to get 2. So I'd get 2.
Well, you said earlier that you tend to get more than one of things, so there you go.
I think I proved that over and
over again.
Yes. Yes. I think it's my thing. So yes. How about you, Jen? What would you do?
You know what? I need to get some snails for my aquarium. I love snails.
Snails, okay.
You know, if I was going to pick the top 100 things that I expected you to pick, that would not have been in the top 100. Not even in the top 1,000.
But now I want an aquarium.
See? Yeah,
good job.
I forget what they're called, but it's the great big ones that you get at the Pet Mart, you know. And they come in orange and gray, and I think there's maybe psychedelic ones too. But I love to watch them. They're very zen. They get on the sides of the aquarium and they just munch their way along very slowly. It's a very zen thing to watch a snail.
Okay, now I want a snail.
There you go.
I want 2 snails because I like 2. I like to get things in 2s. Okay.
There you go.
Parakeet. I'm getting 2 parakeets, apparently 2 donkeys, and now 2 snails. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Tigger?
I want some chinchillas.
Oh,
you do?
Oh, please get chinchillas so that you can post pictures of them on Instagram and I can look.
They are so cute.
Yeah, they are pretty cute.
I'm really I love little chinchillas, and I wouldn't mind having a big red Amazon parrot.
Oh yeah.
And how does your life partner feel about the idea of a big parrot?
I might have better luck with 2 parakeets, than a big red Amazon parrot, because they require a lot of time.
Well, they do.
Or a cockatoo.
But the big thing is any of those birds, they last for so long. You have to make sure there's a place, if they're here for 40 years,
you put them in your will.
In your will. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. but the chinchillas, they could live in just a nice cage, and I could let them loose and watch the entertainment with the Aussies.
I was going to say, how would your Aussies feel about that?
I think they'd be very curious. I would have to tell them I could not use the squirrel word.
No.
It would be the leave it word.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've wanted to get for a long, long time is some pygmy goats.
Oh, I love those. Again, I would love you to get them so that I can see the pictures. I love goats when they belong to somebody else.
Oh, the little ones, the little dwarf, little tiny things that skitter around and leap in the air. And oh, well, they're, my version of a donkey, But yeah, those would be my top picks. And snail. But however, an aquarium that was salt water, I think would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I would love to have those really beautiful fish that are around coral. They're beautiful colors.
Nemo fish.
Yes, Nemo fish.
Nemo fish, because I have no idea what they're really
fish.
called. Yeah.
Me neither. But I love colors. Well, Nemo was a clownfish, but the friend was something else, and then I like the yellow and black stripy ones.
Sure.
So I think that would be cool. But aquariums, you have to be very mindful with them too. So then you need your snails.
And I suppose there are some kind of snails that you can get for your saltwater aquarium too.
I would think so.
Yeah. And I would suggest
They're
this.
called salt snails.
If you're not sure you want to have an aquarium, you need to get a Roku for your TV set. And when you turn on your Roku and hit the home button, when it first turns on, the screensaver is a beautiful saltwater aquarium scene, and it's much lower maintenance.
What is a
That's so
Roku?
funny. I have that. Roku? Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Roku?
Yeah.
It's internet TV. It's I've had Roku. Oh my gosh, since I was at Farfield. That's all I actually ever watch.
I don't even know what it
watch
is.
Well, you're gonna have to Google it. It's pretty cool.
You need to Google Roku. There you go. It's a way to stream TV onto your TV instead of having cable.
And you don't. And some of them
It's
you
sort
have
of like
to
the
pay
Fire
for,
Stick from Amazon.
Same idea. Yes, Roku takes all these different streaming services and puts them into one place, so that when we turn it on, we can choose Disney Plus or YouTube or Netflix or about 40 bazillion other ones.
Wow. So do you plug it into your TV?
Yes, it's just a little itty bitty box about the size of a pack of cigarettes that plugs into your TV.
Yep. Or you can actually get TVs to have it. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. You can get a TV that's got it already built in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You learn something.
Well,
every day.
We're just learning. We're just learning.
Roku would be a really cool name for an animal.
You're right.
That'd be a good name for a dog. Okay, now I want a dog.
Now you want a dog named Roku.
Yeah. It'd be a good horse name. Or snail. It'd be a great snail name or a parakeet name.
Snail name.
Yeah, there you go.
I've never named my snails.
You haven't?
I need to look into that.
Yes, you do.
You've never. That's funny.
The snails have always been anonymous.
I think you need to name them.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a pet you want to add to your family, let us know. Drop us a postcard at Biostar US, 1 Cleveland Street, Gordonsville, Virginia, 22942.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cows.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
Forgive your fox.
While hedging your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with your orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Ponder with your panda.
Walk with your Wookie.
Yawn with your yak.
Twitter with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.